It's not because the money works in my blood, and I kill cause I'm hungry. I kill cause I'm hungry.
Everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'll be reacting to don't know her name. Forgot. Fuck. But Mystique? I don't know how to pronounce it. Fuck it. I have seen the X-Men movie, which I do not remember. Because it had been, what, a year or two since I've seen it? Mystique versus Shang Tsung, whatever. Let's just call it. I don't know. Marvel versus Shang. Mystique versus Shang. And then the second one will be Aku versus Spawn. Okay, Aku versus Spawn is pretty obvious. Neither of them can die by holy weapons. So it's pretty obvious. That neither of them can die by each other's weapons. But, God. But I think, I did watch Death Bell, Kronos versus Spawn. And then they said Letha can mainly suck all the sins out of their opponents. So, yeah. And since neither of them can die by holy weapons, but only Aku can be destroyed by any holy weapons, and Spawn can only be killed by holy weapons when he's beheaded. Or when you slice his head off. In other words. So I think Spawn will win. But for this one, I got no idea too much about each character. I have seen the X-Men movie, and I haven't seen none of the comics and the little animation. I have not seen them, so I'm not deciding on this one. But I do know I have seen some movies and I have seen some Let's Plays of Shang. So I'm going with Mystique. I don't know how to pronounce it. In the video, we'll know. Well, I don't know. But without... Damn it! Notification! But without further ado, guys, let's get on with the video right now.
In this series, the fighters are called showoff. Welcome to Showoff Showdown! In this series, the fighters are called showoffs, and this is the series for the Showoff Showdown. Now let's meet the showoffs for tonight's showdown, shall we? Tonight, we have a battle between two deviously deadly fighters who could literally transform into anyone. That's right, Mystique versus Shang Tsung. Because these two both have the ability to shapeshift into the form of any being they desire, anyone can fight anyone.
I don't know how to put this in, but wait.
In the description below. Now without further ado, it's time for the Showoff to Showdown!
Get ready for the next battle.
Alright. Let's see.
One. Fight!
Yang versus Garnet. Ooh. Oh wait, Garnet will win. When you think about it, Garnet will win because she survived a fight from Jasper, and Jasper couldn't survive explosion that was from the ship, which was, I believe, Continental. Damn. I didn't get that. I didn't get to explain, but whatever. Oh, this is no contest whatsoever. Literally, she can literally put in 2% effort, and she'll die. Boom, boom. You know what? He should have added that creepy, that little creepy girls music. That would have been sick. That would make things so much creepier. She didn't get a hit on there. Damn. Okay, Goku versus... Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I had to clean up my phone because I had to go. Mo! Come on! We gotta go. Because I had to do something, sorry. So by sighting them. Okay, one, that would not work. Oh yeah, he's bringing out the balloon. Ow! You're right.
Finish her. Fatality.
Now
Damn,
that's
that's
what
quick.
I call a fatality.
Okay, now before we discuss this battle, I need to make it very clear that the animation you just saw was not, and I repeat, not a simulation.
That better
All of
not
the
be,
random
because
characters from different series
there's
that
no
Mystique
way
and Shang
Fox
Tsung
McCloud can
transformed
kill
into
Goku.
had nothing to do with this battle. In fact, Mystique and Shang Tsung probably don't
No
even
one-
know who those characters
okay.
are. Overall, the
I bet you
animation
no
you
one
saw was
in the
not a simulation.
Fox
It was
McCloud
intended
universe
for
can
entertainment
defeat
purposes
Goku. I
only,
bet you
and
that.
it was just 100% pure eye candy. Okay, I'm glad I got that covered. Now, without any more delay, let's discuss how and why Shang Tsung was this epic shape-shifting showdown. First off, let's discuss who is more skilled and experienced. Now, it is true that Mystique and Shang Tsung are both very skilled in close combat and martial arts, but I think it's pretty clear that Shang Tsung has a lot more fighting experience than Mystique. Now, because Mystique's shape-shifting ability is able to maintain her youth, Mystique has managed to live for over 100 years. While she definitely has a lot of experience within that lifetime, Shang Tsung, on the other hand, has actually lived and fought for over 1,000 years. If that doesn't tell you how much more experience Shang Tsung has over Mystique, then I don't know what will. Now, speaking of skill, Mystique and Shang Tsung are both
I
very
don't know,
cunning,
because of
clever,
how-
devious, mysterious, mischievous, etc.
just-
And because of this, the
just throwing
chances of
this
either
around,
of them
how many
distracting,
people fight?
outsmarting, or
Maybe-
tricking one another are very low, because from what it seems, neither of them could really technically outwit the other, nor are they going to fall for each other's tricks.
Yeah,
So because
that's
that would be
true.
essentially pointless, they're pretty much just going to have to rely on their combative skills and physicality rather than their cunning intellect. Although, speaking of their tricks, let's discuss their weapons, powers, and abilities, shall we? Now, believe it or not only can Mystique form clothing from her own body while shapeshifting, but she has actually been shown in at least one instance transforming a metallic part of her costume into a functioning blaster pistol.
Really?
Whether
Huh.
this is a function of her powers or the costume piece itself is unclear, but what we do know is that Mystique is capable of forming metallic weapons such as guns from her own body, which is quite impressive and would definitely be useful in a fight like this.
Yeah.
Now, as for Shang Tsung, being a sorcerer, he can use black magic related attacks, such as shooting flaming skulls from his hands, making skulls
Oh, okay.
erupt out of the ground, hot escape teleportation, and more. So because Mystique is a mutant and Shang Tsung is a sorcerer, this would probably be like one of those battles between science and technology versus magic. Sort of. But aside from that,
Ish.
Mystique and Shang Tsung are both very capable of fighting with weapons as well as hand-to-hand combat. Okay, now here's the part we were all waiting to hear. It's time to discuss shape-shifting. As we all know, Mystique and Shang Tsung are both known for their ability to shapeshift into the form of any being they desire. Okay, now some of us may or may not already know this, but the biggest difference between Mystique and Shang Tsung's shape-shifting abilities is that unlike Shang Tsung, Mystique's shape-shifting ability has clearly been stated to be limited to appearances only. While Mystique is able to form her body into the physical appearance of another mutant or being in general, she
Right.
cannot assume the powers or abilities of whom
Like,
she
for
is morphed
example, when she
into.
faced
For
Logan.
example, remember when Mystique fought Wolverine while disguised as him and Wolverine cut off her claws? That's because while she was able to achieve Wolverine's physical appearance, she cannot duplicate or form a real adamantium skeleton like Logan's. And that's just one
at
example.
least the
Now,
writer
on the
can
other
make
hand,
something
when Shang
similar
Tsung
to
shapeshifts into the
adamantium,
form of
but
another
whatever.
Mortal Kombat fighter, he actually
Freaking
does
Marvel.
gain the powers and abilities of whom he is morphed into. In fact, Shang Tsung actually has the ability to steal and consume the souls of others, and when he eats someone's soul, he absorbs all of their memories, powers, and abilities to go with the shapeshifting ability.
God damn it.
So in a way, Mystique would essentially be fighting nearly the entire Mortal Kombat roster all in one body, which would be just too much for Mystique to handle. Not to mention, Shang Tsung can also shapeshift into some characters from DC Comics as well. Okay, I know that the Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe game is technically not canon, as far as I'm aware, but right now Shang Tsung is fighting a Marvel character, and Marvel and DC have done a crossover before, so there could be a connection here. Or we could just say it's a coincidence and forget I ever brought this up. Anyway, it's time for what may be the final question of this debate. Could Shang Tsung steal and consume Mystique's soul? Well, to be honest, I don't see why not. In fact, you know how Rogue from the X-Men has the ability to absorb the powers,
Oh, right,
memories,
that
and
one
life
Death
force
Bell.
of whomever she touches? Well,
Rogue
Rogue has
versus,
touched Mystique
Wonder
before,
Woman.
and Mystique did briefly suffer from the effects of Rogue's touch. In fact, if Rogue had touched Mystique for too long, she would have eventually killed her by literally sucking the life out of her. So if Mystique could have the life sucked out of her by Rogue, then I don't see why Shang Tsung couldn't sort of do the same thing by sucking out Mystique's soul. Now, eventually, Shang Tsung will have overwhelmed and weakened Mystique to the point where he could finish her off with one of his famous brutal fatalities. Rather, if he wants to finish her off by sucking her soul dry, going inside her and exploding her body from the inside,
or doing something
transforming into
else
Goro and
with
tearing her in half, slamming her onto a bed of spikes, morphing into a giant cobra and swallowing her whole, straight up brutally beating her to death, turning into a crazy clown and blowing her brains out, possessing her body and forcing her to rip off her own head, or
forcing
any
her
other
to do some
fatality-related
other
method,
things
that's
that
up
you
for
know
him
I'm
to
talking about.
decide. So overall, while Mystique and Shang Tsung are both very cunning, deadly, and skilled fighters and shapeshifters, Shang Tsung holds the majority of advantages over Mystique, including fighting experience, power, combat variety, superior and more effective shapeshifting.
Too much
and
advantages.
More. Okay,
Too much.
Now I know that I might have sounded like I didn't put a lot of effort into the research for this battle, but that's mainly because there wasn't really as much to discuss in this episode as there were in my other episodes. Oh, and by the way, if I sounded like I was being kind of biased towards Shang Tsung, don't worry, I wasn't. In fact, I'm actually more of a Marvel fan than a Mortal Kombat fan, to be honest, so you don't really have to worry about that. Okay, I think I've said enough. So in the end, Shang Tsung has morphed his way to victory. The winner of this battle is Shang Tsung. Oh, and by the way, I want to give a huge special thanks to the animators of this battle, including Rampage Animations, The Warlord, aka BTL Video Productions, and Smackaderp. All three of these guys are incredibly amazing animators, and it was such an honor to have them here on tonight's episode. So do yourselves a favor and go check out their channels and subscribe.
Done,
Next
and
time
done.
on Showoff Showdown!
No! Aku versus Spawn, next.
And this is the series for the Showoff Showdown.
We never talk about
series,
those.
the fighters are called
We never talk
Showoffs,
about those
and
two.
this is the series for the Showoff Showdown.
We never do.
Now let's
Because
meet the
all I can
show-off
say,
for tonight's showdown.
not a fun
Tonight,
reaction.
we
That's
have
all
an
that's
epic,
saying.
dark, demonic, extra thick battle between Aku versus Spawn.
Hell yeah, better be
Who will win
extra
and
thick
who
and
will burn
juicy.
in hell? It's time to find
Chicken.
out. I put links to the analysis on both characters in the description below. Now,
I don't know why I
ado,
never go
it's
in the
time
description
for
and
the
just read.
Showoff to Showdown.
Yeah, I do not. Oh yeah, and also this quick thing too, guys. I actually helped him with this. And no, this is not a joke. I'm not saying like, oh yeah, you just lying. No, I actually did. Literally, you can literally go in the description below, like before I do. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, earlier the reason why I did record is because my mom was leaving. I can't remember if there's a home. Honestly, don't disturb me while I'm recording. I'm okay with it. But my mom left, so I just thought, oh yeah, I might as well make this video. And I almost forgot about it until I literally remembered. Or I totally forgot about it, and then I just randomly remembered, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna react to this at on 30, but it's like 11:06. I want to say from my alarm clock. Okay, 11:05. And I was gonna do it later, but then I'm gonna forget about it. So I might as well just finish this. And this is only like what? My brother since they're tingling. So, because I'm tired, I'm not sure where I left off. I'm just going back up 5 seconds. And you know the drill. Both original videos will be down in the description below. And my Patreon too, if you want to support me or not. But anyways, let's get back into this right now. Wait, real quick, do this. back up 5 seconds, and insert back into 5 seconds. Actually, real quick, your favorite Canadian YouTuber, eh? If you are watching this, if I were you, do not post, like the animation for the fight. Because mainly, I remember the animation. I remember it. And that was like, what, a month or something ago? Less than a month ago? Or something like that. If I were you, do not post it. Just make like a little trailer of when the fight is coming out. If I were you, just in case, like, say, me, well, for me, for example, do not post no battles, like the animation, unless it's like one of those test animations that I will make assumption for, but don't like post the full animation. Just saying that. But let's get on with the video right now.
Looks like Aku just got sent to hell.
Now let's discuss how and why Spawn was this epic, dark, extra thick showdown. Now for the first thing I'd like to discuss for this battle is the fact that both Aku and Spawn can only be killed by holy or divine weaponry. So on paper, it seems as if neither of them have a way to kill or permanently put the other down when we take our first look at this matchup.
True.
Now there are other things related to this topic I'd like to discuss, but first I need to discuss who has the advantages in the following categories. First off, let's discuss who is more skilled and experienced. Now,
I mean, of course,
Aku and Spawn are both incredibly skilled in combat.
I'm just
in more
taking
ways
this
than
from
one. However,
Animation
when it comes to
Rewind and
experience,
Death
I'm gonna
Battle.
have to give this one
And I
to
know
Aku.
Death Battle's
First reason
Spawn
being is that
versus
Spawn
Kratos
roughly
is
about
older,
30 to 40 years
so
old at the
I'm
very
not sure.
least, as far as I'm aware. While on the other hand, Aku is literally immortal from age, and let's just say he's been around for a very, very long time. So
Yeah.
I think most of us can agree that Aku has
Longer
the
than your
experience
mama.
advantage. Now let's discuss speed. Now believe it or not, Aku and Spawn can both move faster than the speed of light, and they both have light speed or even instantaneous teleportation.
I
So I
know
think it's safe
that.
to say that Aku and Spawn are roughly evenly matched when it comes to speed. Alright, now let's discuss strength. Now, as most of us know, one of Aku's greatest feats is the fact that Aku is the meteor that wiped all the dinosaurs to extinction. This definitely
He is not just a meteor. He is the meteor.
puts Aku at a continental level of strength and destructive capability. This also puts Aku's durability at continent level as well, since he was able to survive the impact upon landing.
True.
Now as for Spawn, here's where things get a little one-sided. Spawn is so strong, he was able to lift and hold something as powerful and heavy as the heart of a star, which easily puts his strength at star level.
My
This also
God.
applies to his durability as well, since he was able to survive an attack that was powerful enough to destroy the sun. So when comparing a continent to a star, Spawn
Literally, that's
clearly
like legit
outclasses
comparing an
Aku in
elephant
terms
to a
of physical
freaking
strength
cheetah.
and
I don't know,
durability.
an elephant to
Now
a
let's
freaking
discuss
human.
the powers and abilities. Believe it or not, Aku and Spawn actually possess a lot of very similar or even the exact same powers and abilities, which includes regeneration, shapeshifting, teleportation, telekinesis, pyrokinesis, matter creation, mind control, corruption, controlling animals, creating and tearing open portals, and both space, time, and dimensional manipulation. So basically,
Damn.
Spawn can do just
Fucking
about
13
everything
right there.
Aku can do and more,
Holy shit.
which will give him quite an edge in a fight like this. Now,
How?
like I said before, because
How?
Aku and Spawn can only be killed by holy or divine weaponry, it seems that neither of them really have a way to permanently kill the other.
I think
Well,
in
let's
the beginning of the
discuss
video
that,
said
shall
something
we? Now,
about Lisa.
theoretically, if
I'll put a
Aku
look back
somehow
into
managed
it.
to obtain Samurai Jack's sword before fighting Spawn, then there is a possibility that Aku might be able to kill Spawn if he beheads him with it. However, Aku would need prep time in order to steal Jack's sword and use it against Spawn, but because this battle has no prep time, that
And you
ain't
also
gonna
need prep
happen.
time to know that
Besides,
he needs to
Spawn
be
has once
beheaded
broken the holy
instead
sword
of just
after
be
it
like,
got
oh yeah,
stabbed through his
stabbed or
shoulder, so
something.
even if Aku did have Jack's sword, that doesn't guarantee him an advantage. Overall, without any holy or divine weapons like Jack's sword, Aku just doesn't have any way to kill Spawn. Now you're probably thinking that Spawn doesn't have any way to kill Aku because he too lacks divine weaponry, but that's where you're wrong. Believe it or or not, Spawn actually does have a way to kill Aku, one that doesn't require holy
AKA
weaponry.
his
As
suit.
most of us know, Spawn wears a living symbiotic suit named Letha, which can feed off the
Oh,
evil and sin of others.
lethal,
This means that Spawn
lethal.
can literally take power from all of Aku's sins, which he has
Lethal.
accumulated for at least 2,900 years. Not only that, but Aku himself is literally made of pure evil. So I think
Yeah.
it's safe to assume that Spawn and Letha will most likely be able to consume the evil energy that Aku's body is made of.
Maybe
Although
not
doing so
instantly,
might not
but
be an easy
slowly
task,
but surely.
considering that it originally took 3 different gods to destroy every last molecular part of the evil source that Aku was born
Badass,
from, despite that one
Sparrow,
tiny piece managed to escape and evolve
Six
into
Arm.
Aku. So it'll probably take Spawn a bit of a while to consume every last part of Aku's body, but he does have what it takes to eventually get the job done. So overall, while it seemed like Aku and Spawn had no way to kill each other at first, Spawn does have a way to permanently put down Aku. Plus,
Yeah.
with all of the advantages that Spawn has over Aku, it won't be too long before Aku gets sent to hell. So in the end, Aku just couldn't spawn a victory. The winner of this...
Actually, a better pun for that could have been like, oh yeah, Spawn had a hell of no, like, god damn it, I'll probably put a little text on the little quip that he should have said, but whatever. Let's go into the video now.
battle is Spawn. Oh, and by the way, I want to give a special shout out to Reacting
The face.
Soul Team 13. He's
Hey!
been helping me with quite a few things for this series, such as making awesome versus templates and
Yep.
sprite sheets. In fact, he's the one who helped me with the sprite sheets for Aku and Spawn. So if
Yep.
it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to animate this battle. So I have him to thank for it.
Hey,
And
you're
not
welcome.
to mention, he also makes really cool reaction videos, and his channel definitely
man,
deserves a lot more attention. So go check out his channel and subscribe.
Oh my god, that was what was it? Shredder versus Silver Samurai.
Show-off showdown? Then let me know in the comments below.
Yeah, but thanks for the shout out. Thanks for the shout your favorite Canadian YouTuber or Andrew. Either way, we never talk about that fight. No, we never talk about that fight. But anyways, if you like my reaction, please punch the like button. No, please light that like button on fire. Phone, computer, tablet, whatever you use to watch this video, light it on fire. Absorb the like button and comment down below what do you want me to react to, and I will do it whenever I get a chance. And my Patreon is down in the description below if you want to support me or not. I'm not going to say this for every single video. I'm probably going to say it 2 or 3 more times in the other videos. But yes, guys, without further ado, peace out.